Welcome back, everybody, to the newest episode of the Fast Expand Warcraft 3 podcast with your boy Kendric and my man Rehcram on the microphone. Good to have you back.
Yes.
Thank you for watching again. And we have another cool episode coming up for you today where we just talk a lot about esports stuff. You know, there's actually been quite a lot of cups and tournaments been going on, and just hot matches in general since we last met on this podcast. Then we're going to move on to a special matchup that we would like to talk about. Rehcram was actually very excited about that. Orc versus human. We're going to talk about, the general stuff, the not so general meta stuff, because I feel like in this matchup, ever since WGL and ever since the most recent tournaments, there's been a lot of back and forth, a lot of different strategies being used by both parties. So that's kind of cool. And then, last but not least, we talk about the upcoming fight night as always. But before we dive into the nitty gritty, man, Rehcram, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thanks. Glad to be here again, once again.
It's been a while since we last talked, and it's the second time in a row where we're just amongst ourselves. No intruders, no guests in here this time, because we wanted to go for a guest actually this time, but we asked two people, and so I guess we can say who we asked. It was Cruncher, the current champion of Fight Night. He unfortunately wasn't available. I think you talked to him.
Yeah, he had finals this, I think it's like tomorrow or one of the upcoming days. So he had a lot of preparation to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, when you have the last final day before an important match, then you want to make sure you don't waste your time talking to some nerds on the podcast. You want to be practicing, right? You want to be focusing.
Yeah, also for his studies, he had a final exam.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that has focus on that. I think.
Yeah,
which is probably smart to have priority straight.
I think so too. So Cruncher man, maybe next time. He was saying that he would love to come at some point, right?
He did. Yeah. I asked him if it would be okay if I asked him in the future, and he certainly sounded positive to that. So
yeah,
we might see.
So that's good. But if you already miss your bi-weekly dose of Cruncher, do not worry, guys. He will be back this Friday for Fight Night. The reigning champion needs to defend his title, and we're going to talk about Fight Night later. But
you're getting ahead of yourself there.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting so excited about it. But right now, we have a constant flux of champions. We haven't really had one in a while where that guy was like Napo or like Hitman. Defending it for several weeks. It was always like champion, new champion, new champion, new champion. So let's see how this trend goes on. And then the other person we asked about potentially coming on the show was Kiwikaki, but he didn't feel comfortable really, be on the podcast, which is totally fine. It's not for everybody, and totally legit to say it's not my cup of tea. Okay, man, Rehcram, what a time it is for Warcraft 3 esports fans right now. That is going to be our first big topic of discussion, man. The esports side of things, and being the trusty journalist and fan, Warcraft 3 fan that you are, I'm pretty sure you watched most of it. Let's start off with the biggest one since we last came here, the WGL Winter Finals playoffs. We weren't really, I wasn't really expecting it to have a grand final without a human. I'm going to be honest here. I thought we would have at least one, but it was not meant to be, right?
No, well, we said last time we had this podcast, it was at the day before the playoffs, and there we said okay, Lin is going to the final because he had a very easy upper bracket.
Yeah,
and then I think we were kind of at a toss up between TH and Happy. I think, of course, 1-0 also would have a chance, but I think for me at least, I didn't really know who to win if it was TH and Happy facing each other. But Happy came out on top, and
I wasn't really sure if Lin could pull it off, because with Lin, ever since his comeback, I think it was in 2016 where he came back after his StarCraft 2 break and no longer break from the game.
Sounds about right, but then he had an injury and stuff. So
exactly. But so ever since he came back, and ever since he had this injury, and it kind of felt to me like he was a little cursed. He was a little jinxed.
Mm.
and I didn't think he would pull it off. I thought maybe in the finals, maybe in the semifinals, he would have to bow down to a stronger opponent, but no, he made it through and finally got another championship, another one of those big trophies in his
Indeed,
chamber.
and very convincing. I mean, we
Yeah.
all knew that he has been looking super strong, but like he mopped the floor with Happy, and that's
hmm
you know.
He did face the toughest opponent I think there was in the finals, and he dismantled him really handsomely. And I think I'm gonna show you guys that as well. I think he even said that in an interview with Remo that he did before the tournament, that everything but the championship is a disappointment. That's what he said on the 28th of November. So
Yeah, he is. He said he had been preparing really well, and you can obviously tell that he's in good shape.
mhm.
Uh, and he said something along the lines with he will only be playing he think he'll be playing like a couple of years more before he has to retire
Yeah,
from like the esports scene.
yeah,
So he wanted to like you know make a claim for his name again, and show he's still capable of dueling with the best and winning the biggest championships, which he
and
did.
he got the biggest one, man. He got the biggest one, and it must feel really good for him to to prove it when Orc was so underrepresented, right, in the playoffs. He was the only one. He was the only Orc to compete there. All of his race mates, if you will, like Focus, Soen, they didn't make it, and they didn't even look that good. They went down pretty terribly. So feels good, man. When there was so much talk and hype about humans, and how they looked good against all the other races, maybe with the exception of Undeads. But man, he proved that the Orcs were still to be reckoned with. Did you expect an Orc to win this? Like just from the current state of the race in general, or do you think Lin the player made all the difference?
I mean, I think if at that level, I think it's mostly about the player, and we often see that okay, this player is in super good shape. Sometimes
Mhm.
it's infield that's just winning everything, and
Yeah,
sometimes Lin, as it was in this case. So I think I had Lin as a favorite and Org as a favorite because he's in so good shape.
Mhm.
So it's not really. I
It
didn't
was
make it.
good for him that there were so many human opponents because against those he looked the strongest.
Yeah, he has that strategy. We'll I'll talk about it later again,
Yeah,
but oh man,
yeah,
people are struggling against it heavily,
yeah.
and I think it's very hard to like execute the strategy because you both have to react very well to your opponent, and just the micro aspect of it is hard.
hmm
But I think like the players like Fly and Focus and Hitman, they need some practice with it to like execute it in order to win against their like equal human opponents.
Yeah, let's actually see. So he, in his group phase, Lin, he beat he beat TH.
Hmm.
Um, then he had two Night Elves in there, but then in the playoffs, of course, man, he faced Romantic first, looking super strong. Yeah, so
Yeah,
Night
let
Elves
me
and
check.
humans really. That was one of his most common matchups there.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's. I mean, he looks strong in all matchups. To be honest,
Mm-hmm.
like he's always been renowned for being great in mirror,
Mm-hmm.
um, and against human, as we said, he's dominating everyone. And I think probably Night Elf is his weakest races. He has lost to Moon not long ago, like in November.
Yeah.
He lost
Mm-hmm.
at least one time in
It's
next
also
cup.
the only map he dropped in the group phase was against Lowlight.
And then a single one to check, but that was
Yeah, that was a crazy game. Yeah, I don't think that was really 100% serious, but yeah, man. So Lin, congratulations, the king of orcs, finally back on top. And yeah, overall, I think we can say that it was a really awesome tournament to watch.
it
From start
was.
to finish, the quality of the matches was insane. We had some really close matchups. We need to say it. Hitman played super well. Um, with a little bit of luck, he could have performed a little bit better in some of the results, but kudos to him for representing NA really well. Man,
And
I
Hawk
gotta say,
making it to
NA right
playoff
now,
again.
dude, NA, a lot of people laugh about NA esports in Warcraft 3, but we have Cruncher showing up in Fight Night. We have Hitman doing really well there. Then in the Warcraft 3 Info League, we have Dust Gaming, man, looking good. So
Yeah.
I think NA is not to be underestimated, man.
No, they are obviously very strong. They still have to get the big titles, but I
Mhm.
think even just with the improvement we've seen in the scene. I
Yeah.
mean, if you asked me for like 2 years ago,
Mhm.
America wasn't a good scene at all compared to just European, even if you exclude the CIS area. But now they look very good. And it's not only Crunch and Hitman, they are like the main stars.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of people that's like up and coming and going strong.
Yeah, I mean, if we just look at the the lineup, that not, and we also probably have to say not just North America, but also South America. Of course, we know that there's some really good players there.
Hmm.
Just to mention Hunter, for example, or OC is from the US, isn't he?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Yeah, but so America, man, America is on the prowl.
America. They are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on the prowl and waiting for more victims that underestimate them and lull at them in Twitch chat. So good stuff. But yeah, WGL, it was great games. America showed up. The Europeans did well. I mean, at least Happy did. Hawk showed very
Oh,
promising
yeah.
games. Gotta
He
say.
both in VCG he made it to playoffs and now
Mm,
VGL. So I'm like waiting for Hawk to make like the real big breakthrough and like making
hmm
it to the final of a big win or
It
something.
feels like he's at 99% right now. And it's just that one tiny bit of extra skill, of extra performance is needed, and then he's there, I feel like.
Yeah. He is like, I mean, just the fact that he's making it to playoffs, his group wasn't the most difficult as we talked about last time,
Hmm
but he played it well in the group and he played it well against Romantic.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the match he had against Romantic, that was one of the best human mirror series I've seen in a long time.
And there's a lot of respect for him too. Whenever you speak to other players, they always say he's so good.
Mhm.
So Cruncher also said like he thinks Hawk is the best Western human, and I think it's safe to say that his performance at WGL once again underlined that really. Foggy, the only one who I expected maybe a little bit more of, but I mean he can't show up every year. At some point, there has to be a break, and he did okay.
Yeah, he went 2-2 and
hmm
won against Light, which was, I think that was an upset for most people.
hmm
Though Light has been looking very strong also.
Yep.
Um, I think everyone really wanted to see Foggy go in
Yeah.
advance because we usually see him in playoffs, and he's usually like the big hope for the West.
hmm
We were used to that for like a year and two ago. Um, but yeah, I hope he'll come back strong this time.
And of course, we also have to say that Moon. It was the first tournament in a long time, major tournament in which Moon was kind of not really a factor.
Yeah, but you have to think that he lost to Infi and then lost to Happy, so he didn't lose the other matches, and there's no shame in losing against Infi and Happy.
Maybe to a Moon it is though. I don't know. It feels
Maybe
like
so.
I mean I fully agree with you. He lost against some of the best in the world, but he's Moon. To me, he always seemed like that force, that unstoppable force. I mean, sure he lost to Happy in summer. That's true.
Hmm.
But it felt like unless he played against Happy, he almost always looked impregnable. Like nothing could stop him really.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm disappointed in Moon because,
hmm
as I said,
And it was
strong
0-2s
opponent.
as well. It was not like close games, like 1-2s or.
No, that's true. It looks. I mean, especially the game against Happy. Uh,
hmm
that
I
was.
think Infi also dismantled him pretty hard.
Yeah, and it was. But as I said, they are great players and are
hmm
both Happy and Infi. Their best matchup is against Night Elf. I
Yeah.
think that's pretty. I don't think that's controversial thing to say. We
hmm
see Happy just playing ball with Foggy pretty much. I looked it up actually. I think yesterday, Happy's match win rate against Foggy is like 87% or something
oh
like
my
that.
god.
That's so sick.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Rough
they did
times,
very well.
man.
And Infi, with the dot main shenanigans he does and stuff,
hmm
he's nasty.
It was a nasty group, man. Group C. Whew,
Mm.
that was crazy. But yeah, it's crazy to think that the next WGL tournament is already going to be in Reforged, most likely, unless there's some crazy bugs or some crazy things happening. But what do we? I'm just excited, honestly, to see if there's going to be an improved spectator mode or what the graphics are going to look like when the next WGL hits. Because let's face it, I mean, Reforged will come out soon in a couple of weeks from now, but we can all tell that there's going to be patches. There's going to be patches like adding stuff, polishing stuff, fixing stuff. So hopefully with that first new WGL next year, we're going to have a super sick client. I can't wait.
I hope so, yeah. And they also promised already that they would do like a patch every. I think
Yeah.
they said they do a patch every 3 months or so.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, there was they launched another update on the beta recently, so
Mhm.
don't want to talk too much about it because it's literally just performance, stability improvements, and custom games. And in custom games, we haven't really seen that much yet, so it's cool. It's definitely cool to see that they definitely care and they definitely try to deliver a good experience.
Yeah, and it's nice that like you can see that replays are supported, and
Yeah,
people have been
true,
very
true.
excited about like seeing Dota and Reforged and playing some tower
Mm.
defenses and such.
I watched Grubby yesterday play a little bit of Dota.
Oh,
Quite a lot of fun. I'm not gonna lie. It reminded me of or it delivered good memories of when I played the game, and I played that a lot.
and I could imagine that's one of the things that's like attractive to people who's not in the scene now. That like, oh, I remember when I played Dota 1,
Yes.
and it's Reforged now. I gotta check that out.
I mean, we keep saying it again. Custom games are going to be so important for the longevity of Warcraft 3 Reforged. Not just from a Twitch viewer point of view or from an esports viewer point of view, but especially for the player base. I feel like there's going to be so many people making new maps and playing them. So it's great to see that they're finally in the game officially on the beta. So I think we need anything we need to add to WGL? Anything we didn't tackle?
No, I don't think so. It's nice that I have high expectations to VGL, and the hype around it and
Mhm.
good matches, and it didn't disappoint. So that's nice.
Yeah, production was good. Casting was on point. There's
Exactly.
really very little to complain about, I think.
And storyline, I think this is a perfect final because we have the reigning champion who's also a
Mm.
Westerner competing against Lin in the grand final, who's
Mhm.
just been looking dominant. So I think that it worked out perfectly, and we got to see both Happy against 1-0, and we saw Happy against
Yes, the
TH.
undead mirror. That was
So
one of the highlights for sure.
yeah, it was.
Now we just need to hope that there's going to be a BlizzCon tournament for next year. That would be so sick.
I hope so, yeah. Or just like I've talked about this before, but like a launch event for Reforged would be amazing. So I hope they'll do something.
Yeah, that would be super cool indeed. Even if it's just another reunion of former pro players and former people that were involved in the scene, like they already did back
Yeah,
when.
that was a great tournament.
Yeah, it was so much fun to watch. I agree. So maybe we're gonna have a reunion again or something along those lines. But
fingers
let's move
crossed.
from China, from the Chinese tournaments to and Lin, of course, to the Western side of things. Recently, I mean the finals of the second season of the Warcraft 3 Info League, the W3IL, is around the corner, and I'm gonna show you to the viewers out there as well. And we have a pretty cool finals here between UMAD and Dust. And as we said, man, the Americans, they beat the Swedes. The Soviet war
Yeah.
elites are out in an epic brawl.
Yeah, I mean, Dust, they have throughout the entire group stage, they've been looking fantastic. And that's so surprising because after last season, they're about to be relegated. And now they come into the first division of the league, and they only lost against SQK, but otherwise they won against each team in the group.
Yeah. And we even had a Fight Night revival between Cruncher and Little DC, which I found to be pretty awesome as well.
Yeah.
And Cruncher, man, he beat Little DC 2-0 once again. So, man, Cruncher has his number. Pretty good. Starshape won his game against FK. Hitman, he won against Matt Frog. Really cool to see Matt Frog playing too. I love it.
Yeah, he's been playing like the last couple of weeks, and he's doing well.
Mm-hmm.
On Netty, he played Netties today and played against both Focus and Lin. So that's good to see him.
Matt Frog
playing
is
against.
usually the stream that I have open around breakfast if he streams at that time. So definitely cool to see him back on Netties, as you said. And
Agreed.
Thorzane, he dismantled Ark.
Well, I think we have to give Ark a shout out because the second game in
Yes.
that match, that was so close. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
for the majority of the game, it looked like Thorzane was going to lose. Then he got a red spot that he probably shouldn't have without compensation.
Yeah.
But it was so close. I think, big shout out to Ark in that game. And
Yeah,
we all forgot about the first game in that series. No one saw that.
And then we had the 2v2, which was FK and Hitman playing against Starshaped and Thorzane. I couldn't watch the 2v2, unfortunately.
That's, I think that's the best match. Not only because it decided. I'll give you a quick rundown.
Yeah, go for it, man. Give us a quick rundown of what happened.
So the first game, Hitman and FK, they always played like TC, Mass Headhunters with Huntresses, and they have been doing really well. I'm not sure if they've lost the match.
Did they go with Potom as well?
They played Keeper first, and then they played Potom second in the first game, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit faint to me because that was, it was pretty much one big fight that game.
Yeah.
And it didn't bode out too well for Sweden. Actually, it was quite one-sided because they seemed like they were taking bad trades. But it was like a timid fight, maybe micro fight. But Sweden lost that one game, and the next game they came up with a good counter against it, where Starshape played Demon Hunter, to drain mana, and then Thorson played, instead of Pala Rifle like he usually plays, he played with Archmage and Blood Mage, and then went for Mortars and Spell Breakers.
Cool.
And did really well. And then the last game, which is why I'm rambling about this, is that then the Americans took it. They were really clever about countering the Demon Hunter strategy. So they just went all in on tier 1 and pushed down with APs and I don't know if they talked about how to counter the strategy beforehand, but it was a clever way to do it.
And the last one was Knollwood, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was.
Good stuff, man. I might actually have to catch up on that because I have a very, very soft spot in my heart for 2v2. Back in the days, I can
recommend it to everyone.
Yeah.
It should be on the Back to Warcraft YouTube, and you can find the replays on Warcraft.info. So, you can watch it whichever way you like it best.
Yeah. You can be your own observer, or you can watch the POV, of course, at Back to Warcraft.
Lean back in your couch and watch it.
Yeah, that's usually what I do. Super cool. Yeah. So once again, America's showing up. The Americas are showing up. And the final is going to be this weekend. Do you know which day?
Yeah, Sunday.
Sunday. Okay. December 15th. There we go. At 5 p.m. CET, which is exactly, according to Liquipedia, 4 days, 21 hours, and 37 minutes away from when we record this. So cool stuff. Cool stuff. And then we have a new thing on the block, a new tournament on the block that's called the Rising Star Cup. It is organized and executed by our boys Neo and Remo from Back to Warcraft. So really cool stuff for them setting it up. And I think it's sponsored by AMD.
Correct.
So they are, contributing and adding a prize pool, a little bit of money there. Super cool that a major company like AMD is getting involved again into this. So shout outs to them as well. And I watched most of it. It was just a 1 day cup. It's not split into 2 broadcasting days. So really cool, relatively quick. And what I love about these cups, I'm not sure about what you think about it, Rehcram, but I love that you have a mix of game quality there. When you start in the lower brackets, you can get anything. It's sometimes unknown players, sometimes new players, sometimes players that surprise you. So I enjoyed a good mix of unknown players, and then as we got higher in the bracket, we got some well-known names.
Agreed. Yeah, I think it's very important that we have these type of cups.
Oh yeah,
we had Jericho, that unfortunate stuff, but that carried the scene for a long time. And I think it's having these weekly cups that's super important. And
Yeah, the
a good
Zotac Cups, man. They've been
way back.
around for years.
Yeah. So I think it's good that the scene have like a mix of league, games, and then cups, small cups, and then big tournaments like VGL and VCG.
Yeah. There was one player, I think, to me, at the Rising Cup, Rising Star Cup, that stood out a lot, and that was Kiwi Kaki. Once again, an American player, by the way. We talk so much about NA today. I love it.
Yeah.
And he has always been known to be a scientist, the one that tinkers around builds or tinkers a lot with new builds and new strategies. And you sent me a replay that I could cast over on Heroes Hearth just a few days before that. I think it was his game against Shaik.
Exactly.
It was so funny. So when I watched his games against Death Note and then against Happy and stuff, I was kind of wondering if he would show the same stuff. And when the TC came out and stuff, I kind of, and the Headhunters, I kind of knew what it was up to. And I was like, hey, Rehcram, man, you showed me that replay. You knew before everyone else.
Yeah, that's like the style that Kivikage is known for, like Headhunters and Shamans and Bloodlust.
Mm-hmm.
And Farseer, of course, first.
Yeah, Farseer first, TC second. I think at some point, I'm not sure if it was Kiwi or if it was someone else, but I think in one of the games he played Shadowhunter and Alchemist.
I mean, that combo?
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm just not sure if it was Kiwi or if it was someone else that I watched, but there was.
I mean, he does a lot of. I wouldn't be surprised if it's.
Basically, the thing behind that is that he had double healing. He had the chain healing and you had the healing spray.
Yeah, he plays it a lot with the Alchemist second and Shadowhunter third, but then he has Farseer first hero.
Yeah, maybe it was actually like that, but I just remembered these two heroes to be there, so it struck me. It was really cool to see that Mountain King comes in, you're like, oh, he's going to drop the big clap, and then easy counter healing, easy.
He does it a lot against human because they often get like Blizzard and clap to counter hit.
Exactly.
Then he just have the healing to recounter it, and then he has a lot of damage from hit on this coming.
And the coolest thing, I don't want to spoil it too much, guys, if you want to check out the games yourselves. Once again, on Back to Warcraft's YouTube channel or the replays. I mean, we're going to talk about this in a bit with the orc versus human matchup, which is another great bridge we can build. But man, when there's all that caster backline for human players with sorceresses and priests, most importantly, Kiwi just built 2 to 3 demolishers with burning oil. It was insane, man. He was just quite literally demolishing the backline there with so much damage. The fire spread, it was so good.
And especially because he gets upgrades for hit hunters.
Yeah, two upgrades, 3 upgrades. Crazy.
Yeah, and get them for demolishers as well. So they just do like 100 damage. And then with the coder that gives like plus 20 to the demolishers. I think it's ludicrous amount of damage.
And even against heroes, like that Archmage wasn't safe no more. if the Archmage ever got low to, let's say, yellow HP, and he didn't micro it at the moment, and Kiwi got a broadside with 2 to 3 demolishers and hero damage, it was insane. That hero popped. It took so much damage. Delete it.
Yeah, I mean, if you just have like Alchemist acid bump,
yes,
bloodlusted hit hunters or circus even that focus fire, then you don't have to be far out of position to blow up with an Archmage.
Oh, it was crazy, and Twitch chat was loving it too, man. I felt a little bit sorry for Death Note at some point because the whole Twitch chat was just cheering for Kiwi and no one was really rooting for him anymore. Everybody just loved the carnage and the mayhem. And Death Note did play very well, but it was cool to see how Twitch chat they sometimes like to be they're like a flag in the wind, wherever the wind blows, Twitch chat is going to be cheering for them, So the one day they lull and they make fun of NA, but the other day when Kiwi shows up and plays beautiful Warcraft 3, they cheer for him. And gone are the NA taunts. I love it.
And I wouldn't be surprised if someone also said, that Farsi and Headhunters is an OP
Oh,
strategy.
it's OP,
Should be
yeah.
nerfed. That would sound like Twitch said at least.
Yeah. Someone. I'm pretty sure there were some people in there calling the Farseer abuse and cheat, and headhunters need to be more expensive and stuff.
Yeah, that would be like them.
It was great though to see Kiwi really playing the strategy and very efficiently too. He got pretty much destroyed by Happy, but hey, you can only expect as much, and Happy is just on a whole different level.
Yeah, and he needs to refine his strategy against Undead a bit. I think
Mm-hmm.
he's like wavering a bit of, from what I've seen, he's varying between having Farseer solo and like Grunt and Radar, and then he's also tried like a Headhunter Shaman strategy. So I think he needs to sort out what he think is strong, and then he needs to refine it.
Yeah, pretty much.
But generally, like speaking of Kivikagi, I'm excited to see him participate in tournaments because he said he's striving to like become the play on top level again.
Nice.
And with a strategy, when he's playing strategies that's so different, then it's not easy at all. Don't get me wrong, but it's easier to do well on ladder where people are not preparing specifically against you and know what you're up to. But I'm excited to see him play in tournaments where people, they know they're playing against Kivikagi, and they know that they will play against Farseer and Headhunters. So how will they, challenge him on that, and will he be able to handle when people are, specifically countering his strategy?
That's certainly a weak point when you are the exotic guy, the inventive guy, and sure, it's great when you can surprise your opponents, but the moment people figure you out, and because you've worked so hard and you've put so much effort into refining this new playstyle, when you're then forced to go for standard because your exotic stuff doesn't work anymore, that's oftentimes then the nail in the coffin for these players because they neglected the standard style too much and they then can't reproduce it.
Yeah, if they find an answer to it, because I don't know what to do, what I would do against it, and it doesn't look like the opponents are like clear about what they want to do either.
Yeah, so the next couple of months, keep an eye out for Kiwikaki. In fact, I will be recording something with him later. After we're done with this podcast, we have a kind of like a cool project going on for Heroes Hearth where I'm just going to be sitting down with him and talk over a replay and ask him some questions. So if you guys are interested in that, you can, of course, follow us or subscribe us wherever you're watching on Heroes Hearth Warcraft 3. And I'm not sure when the video will be uploaded, but definitely this week. So we'll be recording it tonight and then probably upload it tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. So
looking forward to that.
Stay tuned for that. Yeah, me too. I can't wait to see which replay he's going to choose. Okay, man. Whew, that was a whole bunch of tournaments and leagues happening over the last couple of days. Did we miss anything? Anything important?
I think that's like the biggest things.
Yeah, I think so too. And of course, next Saturday we already have an announcement that there will be another Rising Star Cup. So that's going to be a weekly thing in December, according to Back to Warcraft, which is great. More fantastic games. You should definitely make sure to tune in.
Yeah, and I'll participate, so you don't have to be good
Oh, what?
to
You're going to participate?
Yeah.
Okay.
They said that they want to have some noobs as well, so I volunteer to be slaughtered by whoever I get matched up
Wait,
with.
so are you going to be playing this Saturday?
I'll be playing this Saturday, yeah.
Oh my god, you got to watch that now. Cheer for your boy.
Yeah, I'm going to need it.
I need to somehow find a way to bribe Neo and Remo to cast you. That needs to happen.
I'm going to dodge all the popular people. So.
Yeah. What is your best matchup? What would you say? Would you feel most comfortable in?
I have no idea. I mean, right now I'm playing random race.
Okay.
So
are you gonna play random at the tournament too?
I'm considering it. I'm not sure. Maybe I'll just play human because that's what I'm the most used to. I think Undead is probably my favorite style because I have a lot of strategies that I like there. I'm not sure if it's.
So you want to play? You like playing as Undead or against them?
Oh, against when I'm playing human.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of fun strategies to do there that I enjoy a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I haven't checked my statistics. What's my actual best?
I thought it was impossible to play against undead as human. I thought the game would automatically close itself because
Yeah, right. Weird.
yeah.
I figured out how to prevent that. Apparently.
Fantastic, man. So yeah, oh my goodness, that's even more reason now to tune in this Saturday. I think it starts at 5 again, 5 p.m. So check it out. I can't wait to see how many people signed up. This last time we had over 100. So fantastic response, great stuff. And
Will you be
Rehcram.
playing?
Dude, if you make it to okay, do you want to bet? If you
On
make
what?
it to round of 16,
I'm not gonna make it to round of 60 if there's 100 players.
if you make it to the round of 16,
Okay, let's see it.
dude, I'm gonna give you a shout out on the next fight night, and yeah, I'll think of something. I'll give you a shout out, a very creative shout out on the fight night.
Okay, sounds like a bet without too many consequences. I like that.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. You just need to play well.
But are you not playing in the cup? I want to get matched against you.
Okay, honestly, I don't want to brag or anything, but the last time I streamed Warcraft 3, it was 4 hours and we didn't lose a single game. Admittedly, I started off in Reforged, so we didn't lose a single game, bro.
That's sick.
Yeah. I mean,
once again, I don't want to be matched up against you in the cup.
I started off in Reforged, and it's not the same stuff. It's not the same experience when you play Classic. And I did play some 2v2s, so that also didn't count. But then I had, I think, 4 games in Classic too, and we won all of them. So
nice. You're on a streak.
Yeah, but you know the way it works, Rehcram, right? You win a lot of games and then you lose a lot of games. It's never
when your confidence is up here. Then you play again, and then you just keep losing. Oh.
Exactly, and then the game tries to bring you down, tries to drag you down to the ground. You don't fly off like Icarus.
Too close to the sun, and you might
exactly.
Get
yeah, so good stuff, man. A lot of tournaments, a lot of esports action, fantastic. And now, since we've already mentioned Kiwi and Death Note, and we mentioned Cruncher, and we didn't Cash actually, yeah, Cash, new challenger. So much orc versus human at the moment, and you had it on your heart. You really wanted to talk about this.
Yeah, I told you I could rant for a long time about orc versus human.
Yeah,
and I, to be honest with you, I don't know where to start with it because the meta has been changing constantly throughout this patch, and I think we should give a quick rundown about it. So first, riflemen are buffed and clap is buffed. That leads to people playing those two together, and then power creeping with Mountain King and clapping all over Blade Master and Walker and Raider. So that gives human a 70-something win rate in tournaments against orc, and absolutely destroys them. So TH and Lin and stuff like that plays orc and plays Farseer with TC, and goes mass grunts with shamans, and starts making early expansions to timing with shamans so they can purge water elemental. And suddenly, the rifleman does not work out, and orc has the upper hand in the matchup.
Yeah,
leading to human going back to mass casters to deal with the massive amount of grunts with sorceresses and stuff. And then it seemed like human was doing good again, and then Lin comes in as Regel now, which is kind of where we are, where he goes for like mass range combo with orc, which is kind of unheard of because like orc is quote unquote supposed to be the melee race with raiders and Blade Master.
Yes.
So he plays shamans and Kodos with only 2 or 3 grunts, and does very well. As we see, we said at the start of the podcast already, he is dismantling everyone. And the reason I want to talk about that is now it kind of looks like people want to go a bit back to playing with riflemen again, because we saw I saw Blade playing against Hitman in the Americans Cup final, where he 3-0'd him with Rifleman.
Mm-hmm.
And
With
I'd love
Paladin or
to.
Mountain King?
Oh, Mountain King.
Yeah.
Mountain King second and Archmage first.
Yeah.
So the idea is that to deal with, TC running and stumbling and everything, you need to have Stormbolt level 2 and then focus firing every time he tries to run in.
Yeah.
So he runs in, you bolt him, and you right-click him with Rifleman, and you rinse and repeat constantly. And obviously, the Orc doesn't want to play Kodo and Shaman against Rifleman, so they have to figure something else out. And we already had a response to it with Grunts and Shamans.
Mm-hmm.
So if the meta becomes Rifleman, then the Orcs might go back to to going heavy on Grunts early game. But yeah, it's just to say that it's a mesh in that matchup, and I have no idea how it's gonna land.
Yeah. That's crazy. So much happening, really. And then even now we had the creative approach by Kiwi, with the Demolishers and
Yeah, that's something completely else.
but it worked, He beats
Yeah,
Death Note. Is not an easy opponent.
And it's not only Death Note; he's also beaten the likes of I've seen beat Maru and Cooper and Lada as well. So
Yeah,
strong.
definitely a cool state. And then this matchup, of course, will also be the one that we have in the upcoming Fight Night with Cruncher facing Cash. I was really happy that Cash locked in the humans because we know he plays it all, really, if he wants to.
He locked in the Orc, right?
Yeah.
Cash. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So we asked him if he could already confirm a race, and he said Orc.
That's good. He's a great random player.
Yeah, very dangerous. And you could really see how Cruncher, he was getting a little nervous. He was like, oh shit, do I know which race he plays? Or
Yeah, but Cash lost to Spiral's human just a few days ago.
Oh,
That's
in the clan war.
No, in a Rustbrain cup.
Okay, nice. Yeah, Spiral, dude. But he also beat him in the clan war, in the W3IL.
Yeah, but that was Orc Mirror.
That was Orc Mirror. That's true.
Yeah.
But Spiral, man, dude, he's got his number.
Certainly, yeah. Spiral, he's one of the non-CIS European players who's like really prominent and really doing well.
Mm-hmm. So, with the upcoming matchup, man, for Fight Night, who do you think has the edge? I know you actually were a big fan of Cruncher last time. I thought Lil DC had that, man. I thought I gave him a lot of trust, but Cruncher, he showed up big time. Can you be the prophet again for this one?
I mean, after seeing Cash losing to Spiral playing human and it was 2-0, then I have to, then I think it's going to be 3-0 for Cruncher. And
wow, okay.
So that's what I'm going to say. But I also know that Cash is more accomplished and he's, a fantastic player. But he has to, figure something out in that matchup. He wants.
So you say 3-0 for Cruncher?
I will, yeah. Even though I think, overall, Cash might be the best player that's been in Fight Night.
Mm-hmm. That's so. To elaborate a little bit more on that. So, Grubby and I, when we choose the players for Fight Night, we usually, sometimes I ask Rehcram, what do you think? You have any ideas? Sometimes other people in the community, they reach out and they suggest players. But Grubby and I, we really try to not go crazy on it, because it's like a reoccurring joke that whenever, we announce a new opponent or whenever a new champion is crowned, we immediately text them, okay, nice, GG, next opponent is happy. And it works every time, by the way. It works every time. The responses we get from the players are hilarious. Cruncher, maybe I can find it actually and show you, but Cruncher, he was like, oof, oh boy. That was his response there. But yeah,
if I found the stats for Cruncher versus Cash, and so as I mentioned,
okay, go ahead.
Cruncher won 2-1 against Cash last time they met, and that's like 1.5 months ago.
Okay.
Where Cash played random,
and
he got
he won 2-1 against him.
No, yeah, Cruncher won 2-1 against Cash. But it was like I think he got human twice. And then last time they played before that was way back in May, so 5 months ago.
Mhm.
And Cruncher also won 2-1, but that was against his.
Hmm.
So Cruncher is 2-0 in matches, but it looks to have been close matches.
All right, man. The
So,
closer, the better.
I might have taken my, the 3-0 prediction, take my mouth a little full with that, but I'm gonna stick to it. 3-0 for Cruncher. America. I'm on the hype train for America.
Yeah, the NA hype train. Choo choo.
Yeah.
Love it. Yeah, I don't know. I can't predict this one. I've been so wrong about predictions in Fight Night, and every Fight Night seems to be so crazy good and close. So let's see. But yeah, so what I was trying to say earlier is, Grubby and I, when we choose the opponents, it's usually we have to be very careful not to invite someone too powerful, because let's say if we invited Happy for that reason, there is a big chance that he would reign. He would reign supreme, and he would stay as a champion until we are too old to cast. So
Yeah. And make everyone go bankrupt by taking the bounty
yes,
after 50 games.
Exactly. So we're trying to find, players of equal power level ish. And I think so far it's worked. We haven't really had a hardcore stomp, with the exception of Effect versus Hitman. I think that was the quickest one we've had.
Mm.
But Hitman, man, he kind of gave up on that before it even happened. He was complaining in the interview, or not in the interview, he was complaining about the matchup in Twitch chat before, and it felt like he wasn't really there. It felt like he was.
Also, as I said, like the matchup is in turmoil.
Yeah.
And I actually spoke to Hitman with it. I made an interview with him before VGL.
Mm-hmm.
And then I actually asked him if he's like the player who likes to play when things are not really known and come up with strategies himself, or if he's the player who wants to refine strategies and perfect them and execution. And he said to me that he thrives in execution of a single strategy that's known to be the best, and refining it. Good. And elaborating on.
So he's the reverse Kiwikaki.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
That's an okay way to put it, I think.
That's super cool, actually. That's really cool. Yeah. So Fight Night coming up this Friday, guys. It's gonna be Cash from Russia. We finally have a Russian player in there again. Against Cruncher. It's gonna be an orc versus human. Fantastic. Gonna be very tight, very interesting. Mm-hmm. And Grubby and I will be casting, as always. And you can catch that on the Twitch channel, twitch.tv/HeroesHearth, or on the YouTubes on this very channel. We've gotten much better than last time to upload it in time.
Yeah, so it was like the day after. Usually it's been.
It was literally okay. I was the one uploading it right after the cast, so it was like 4 a.m. in the morning, and I uploaded it and did everything ready, had the thumbnail and had everything, and then had it boom.
Nice, because I've tried sometimes where I didn't catch it live.
Yeah.
I had to watch the VOD, and even though it was like 2 days after, it wasn't on YouTube.
Yeah. Because before we changed the rhythm, we had someone else uploaded and someone else take care of it, but that person wasn't really working on the weekend, so I was like, you know what, just send me the thumbnail and I'll do it. Doesn't really matter if I go to bed at 3 or 4.
That's nice.
So yeah, we love it, man. All for the fans, all for the community. That's what we do it for, right, Rehcram?
Indeed, that's the thing.
That's it. So yeah, man, I think we covered all the topics, man, and unless there's something else you want to talk about, I think that's a good point to call it.
I think that's about it. We got around to the main thing that's happened, I believe.
Yeah. Of course, guys, you can always let us know how you're enjoying the episodes. If there's any topics you want us to tackle in the future, if you want to hear more about custom games, or if you want to hear more about build orders, matchups, like we tried to talk about today, with orcs against humans. Your feedback is always welcome, and we're definitely open to adjust our schedule and our talking list a little bit accordingly. So also guests, of course.
Yeah. We're not, it's not because we have to only be Kendrick and I as we've been the last 2 times.
Yeah.
We are more than open to suggestions for guests that we should invite. And
and keep in mind, the guests don't even have to be like players or If you're
Exactly.
a community member and you think you would like to hop on the podcast, if you think you're doing well in front of the camera or in front of the microphone, then definitely, man, hit us up or hit us up with your portfolio or with your Twitter profile. Portfolio. That sounds so official. No, just hit us up with your Twitter account so we can get into contact or tweet at us. You can see the Twitter pages down there at Rehcram _ at Kendrick Swish. Always open, man. This is a very open format. We don't have to be super strict all the time. We don't have to be super professional and only the highest top tier guests. This is definitely something for the community too. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I would like to say thank you very much for listening and watching wherever you clicked on the podcast. And shout outs to Heroes Hearth for allowing us to do this, for the beautiful overlays they provided. Shout outs to all the guests, all the listeners. You guys are amazing. And yeah, Rehcram, man, final words before we click on that button and close the show.
All right. I think I'll expand a bit on what you thanked for.
Yeah.
Companies like Heroes Hearth and AMD we talked about.
Yeah,
I think it's so
AMD,
cool,
man,
like,
all the people who are getting invested in it, love it.
yeah, and taking a leap of faith into the game, and
Mhm.
with all the tournaments that are being sponsored and organized, and teams that pick up players like Oceanus and DOS.
Yes.
Fantastic. I shout out to all who trying out Warcraft and producing content for it and helping players and so on.
Fantastic. Couldn't have thought of any better words, any final words that sounded better. So, guys, thank you very much. And we'll see you again in the next podcast here in Fast Expand. Until then,
Yeah, right.
peace out. Nice. Okay.
Nice. We managed again, even though it's only a